What's up, guys? It's Luke, and you're watching Luke the Gathering. Thanks for being here. It's my little Magic the Gathering channel, and today it's another draft pick. This time it's Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. I think by the end of this series we'll have 10 of these, and let's switch over to the overhead right now. The one pack, we're just going to see what we get in it and put these cards in an order that I would pick them in a draft, of course. We have Shocking Grasp, Priest of Ancient Lore, Deadly Dispute, Sylvan Shepherd, Earth Cult Elemental, Arcane Investigator, You Find the Villain's Lair, You Find a Cursed Idol, Direwolf Prowler, Cridle of Baldur's Gate, Portable Hole, Sudden Insight, Oswald Fiddlebender, Rare, Showcase, Scaled Herbalist Foil, and then we have our tokens, so we're going to get rid of those. And just looking at the cards right now, I think this is definitely an okay pack to open. The Rare is one that I don't see people picking very often. It's Oswald Fiddlebender, and what it says is, sacrifice an artifact, search your library for an artifact card with mana value equal to 1, or to 1 plus the sacrificed artifact's mana value, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle, activate only as a sorcery. So I've seen somebody do this with treasure tokens, which are artifacts, but you have to do some specific things to get this card to work. And so I don't think it would be a first pick for me. Looking at these cards, I think my first pick would be the Priest of Ancient Lore. Some people consider Priest of Ancient Lore the best white common card. And what it says is, when Priest of Ancient Lore enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life and draw a card. So it replaces itself right away, plus it draws you a card. And it's a 2/1, so you'll probably use it to just trade off with somebody early in the game. Priest of Ancient Lore, really nice, works with life gain synergies. Also can work with drawing card synergies. Like Cleric class works great, Wizard class works great with Priest of Ancient Lore. Just costs 2 and a white, and so just really good value for Priest of Ancient Lore. I just think probably better than anything else here. Secondly, I think I would go with a lot of cards I feel like would be iffy. But if this is what I saw, and if I did take the Priest, even though that obviously wouldn't happen with these 2 in a row, I think I'd take Portable Hole. It's only a 1 mana cost artifact. So I guess you could grab that with Oswald Fiddlebender if you sacked a treasure token. But it says, when Portable Hole enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls with mana value 2 or less until Portable Hole leaves the battlefield. So I'm thinking specifically of the class cards. This thing can get rid of class cards for only 1 mana. Maybe they poured a bunch of mana resources into a class, and then you just Portable Hole it, and it sucks to be them. You can also use this to get rid of like little creatures that don't cost too much either, or even equipment. So I think it makes for a decent card. All right, this next one is going to be a little bit more controversial, I think, because of the color pair, but I like Cridle of Baldur's Gate. For whatever reason, black and blue wasn't really a big archetype. Didn't work the best in this set. But Cridle of Baldur's Gate, I feel like you can make it work. And maybe that's just the optimist in me. But what Cridle does is it has all this text in it. It says, whenever Cridle of Baldur's Gate deals combat damage to a player, that player loses 1 life and mills a card, and you gain a life and scry 1. That's like a whole bunch of value built in right there. And then for only 2 mana, you can make a creature that can't be blocked. And there are plenty of creatures that I think of would be great with this card. Think of a guy with a Vorpal Sword towards the end of the game. Amazing if you could make it so that they couldn't be blocked. You can win the game right then and there. So when I see Cridle of Baldur's Gate, I just my eyes are open wide, and I'm like, oh, there's so much possibility with him. And is a 1/3, so you can block your 2 toughness guys, or 2 power guys, I should say. After that, I like the Earth Cult Elemental. It's a big, beefy creature that can make your opponent sacrifice their permanents. And with a 1/9, you have to sack your own permanent as well. That's a drawback, but it's like you're trading, so at least you're on equal footing. He's a 6/6, very difficult to get rid of. I just like this creature. Later in the mid game to the end of the game, you throw one of these guys out. It's a scary sight. I think after that, Sylvan Shepherd. This guy only costs 2 and a green, and whenever you attack, you get to roll a dice and gain some life. Either gain 1, 2, or 3 life with the Sylvan Shepherd. That's cool. And it's a 2/3, so a little bit beefier of a body than just a 2/2. I think that's really great. Has Vigilance, which is a nice little kickback. It's not like the best thing ever, but can still be on the block. And great in a life gain deck. And green and white make a great life gaining kind of deck that takes advantage of those abilities, and other creatures work well with it and synergize. So I like Sylvan Shepherd quite a bit. After that, I think I would take the Direwolf Prowler. The thing about Direwolf is it's a 2/2, so just very standard and generic, but it costs 2 and a green. But it does have that extra ability where if you pay a green and a generic, you get it to +2/+2. And so it's a 4/4. And in this format, in AFR, 4/4s are pretty tough. They can be pretty difficult to beat. And so I like Direwolf Prowler for that reason. And I've been hosed a lot by the Direwolf Prowler. I've had like 2/2s out there, or 2/1s, or 1/2s, and they just can't do anything with a Direwolf Prowler. And then even if you get like a 2/3, you think you're okay, they swing it into a 4/4, and there goes your guy. Or at least you know you can't attack, because they have the ability to pump up Direwolf Prowler and make him stronger. After that, I think I like You Find a Cursed Idol. This has a lot of utility. It just costs 1 and a green. You can either destroy an artifact, which there are tons of in D&D. You can destroy an enchantment, which there are tons of in D&D. And you can create a treasure token and venture into the dungeon, which is great because it ramps you, and then you also get... well, what it does is... I shouldn't say ramp. I should say it helps you fix your mana, which is really nice with that treasure token. So I think this is always good. It's a great utility card that you can use almost at any time. I really like this card a lot. And, you know, other than the creatures that I've picked before, this would definitely be next. I feel like people don't pick this card that high, so you can sort of leave it for later and just pick it up. Okay, I think we're going to go with Deadly Dispute next. For 1 and a black, draw 2 cards, create a treasure token, but then you have to sacrifice an artifact or creature. That's actually not that bad in black. The nice thing about it is this is an instant, so you can have somebody block something and then Deadly Dispute it and it's gone. Or my favorite personal thing to do is you steal their guy and then you can play Deadly Dispute and it kills them, plus you get value off of that. It's kind of a nasty card. I wouldn't pick it that early because I feel like it could stick around and get picked up later. After this, I think You Find the Villain's Lair would be what I personally would go with next. It can count. It's a counter spell basically, but it costs 1 and 2 blue. You can also draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards, so it's a nice utility card. I don't tend to play this card very often. I feel like it always just barely misses the cut, but I think it's a middle of the road card that I would pick. Next up, Arcane Investigator. This was in the pack last time. I like it. I mean, I definitely would pick it. Maybe I'd probably pick it even above You Find the Villain's Lair. I'd probably switch those two. Let's just do that now. Let's switch them. I'd rather take the Arcane Investigator. I do like that he has the ability to draw a card, and he's only, 1 and a blue, so relatively cheap. Other than that, the rest of the cards, I don't know. Shocking Grasp, I might pick. I think people don't really like this card, but I like that it can draw you a card. And so if you do have like the wizard class going and you're trying to draw cards, blue has like a big draw card thing going on. I'd pick Shocking Grasp. I think then Oswald Fiddlebender. Not a huge fan of Oswald, so I'd pick him. He'd be there. Not too excited about that pick. We read the card already. Probably wouldn't make the cut unless I was trying to build a very specific deck, which I probably wouldn't build. I think Sudden Insight would be next. This is a card where you can draw a card for each different mana value among non-land cards in your graveyard. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on there where you have to figure out what's on your graveyard, and if there's nothing in your graveyard, then it's not going to do anything. It's cost 6 mana. So, I mean, it could be good towards the end game, but it's very situational, which I'm not a huge fan of. So that would be there. And then the Scaled Herbalist. This guy lets you, like, put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. I just find that's kind of, it's not useless. It's going to happen sometimes, but it's going to happen less times than probably you think it will happen. And so I'm not a huge fan of the Scaled Herbalist. I probably wouldn't, I mean, any of these sort of last picks would not really go into any deck that I would build in Limited. So there you have it. This pack, what do you think? Is this what you would do, or would you switch around some of the parts of this pick and selection? Let me know. I'm always interested to hear your thoughts. Really, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.